Fusions are coming to Pokemon GO, and you're going to be seeing these very soon. As many of you may know, Necrozma is coming to Pokemon GO during the GO Fests, both in-person and global. And that's got a lot of people wondering if we're going to get its two alternate forms, both being the Dusk main Necrozma and the Dawnwings Necrozma. And in the main series games, the way to get these Pokemon were to combine a Necrozma with either Lunala or Solgaleo using a special device. And we don't have anything like that in Pokemon GO, until now. And thanks to a Twitter group called the Pokemon Group, we now know because they've data mined the game and they found all these assets. I should mention that data mining is against the terms of service, and everything that they have found can and possibly will change, but it's not against TOS to talk about it, so let's go into it. For starters, they did find these assets recently added to the game. You can see that we have both the Sun and Moon Pikachus, and the Eevees with their shiny variants, but we also have Wiglet in there in Wugtrio, which is really cool. And there's also the Espeon and the Umbreon with the costumes that we'll be seeing during the global event. But at the very bottom, you see Necrozma there, and its shiny variant, and it will be shiny eligible during Go Fest. But to the sides of it, you can see Duskmane and Dawnwings, which is really neat. So they're clearly in the game right now, it's just whether or not they'll be activated. And they've also found these assets, showing Necrozma in front of Solgaleo and Lunala. But not only that, as you can see underneath the banner, there's also the Dawnwings and Duskmane, showing what needs to be combined in order to create them. So this looks like this will be something that is going to come to Go Fest, and it's gonna be really awesome. But how exactly are we going to be fusing these things together? Well, I believe it's going to be these items right here. As you can see, there is a sun and a moon kind of rock. In the main series games, it was a completely different item, but it feels like what this is going to be is like fusion energy. So we'll probably have Dawnwings and Duskmane raids where you take them down and then you get the energy so you can combine your Necrozma with either Solgaleo or Lunala. And a system like this is very Pokemon Go-like, so it does feel like this is going to be the way it is. Or it could possibly be like the meteorites for Mega Rayquaza, but I don't feel like that's going to be how it works, because you have to use the meteorite in order for Rayquaza to get Dragon Ascent, and then once it has Dragon Ascent, it can Mega Evolve. That's not the case when it comes down to these fusions, though. So I feel like we're going to be getting a certain amount of energy for these things per each raid we take down. But not only that, we also have the exclusive moves for Lunala and Solgaleo in the code now, and they're specifically called Moongeist Beam and Sunsteel Strike. It's supposed to be Strike. I don't think it's supposed to be Sunsteel Strick. Either way, though, still pretty cool, and they look very interesting. They might shake up PvP. It might be a little bit of PvE as well. Lunala's really just like one move away from being insanely good, so we'll see how this shakes it up. And it appears that these signature moves are going to have bonus effects, just like Roar of Time and Spatial Rend for both of the Origin Palkia and Dialga. As of this moment, there's no clues as to what they're exactly going to do, but it seems interesting that they're adding more of these kind of moves, because honestly, people loved that with Dialga and Palkia. Okay, so this literally just dropped a couple minutes ago, but the Pokeminers found out what exactly these moves are going to be doing, so let's just read it real quick. Sunsteel Strike and Moongeist Beam received adventure effect settings. Both appear to be a day and night incense, and the cost is 5 candies and 1,000 dust for both. And obviously it feels like you can stack them up to 2 hours, but that's really interesting. So they're really just gonna be incenses that'll probably attract more daytime or nighttime Pokemon depending on when you use it. And who knows what else you might be able to bring in. The daily adventure incense brings in Galarian birds. You might be able to bring in maybe, just maybe, a Cosmog or something like that, which would be an interesting way to introduce getting extra Cosmogs and potentially shiny Cosmog as well. Obviously, this is just speculation on this part, but obviously, you know, like nighttime probably will bring in Murkrow and stuff like that. Daytime, Yungoos is a big daytime Pokemon. There's also Tyrunt and Amora, both that evolve during the day and night. That's very interesting. I think this is a really fun thing to do, so if you just don't want to use a normal incense or your daily, use these exclusive moves and get yourself a day or nighttime incense. I assume Sunsteel Strike will be the daytime and Moongeist Beam will be the nighttime incense. It just makes sense, but it would be funny if they flipped them around. But either way, that's actually really cool, and I'm glad that this happened before I hit render on this video. But now let's dive into how exactly this is going to work when it comes down to shininess, IVs, all that stuff. And to do that, we have to dig into the main series games. So in the main series games, if you used a Necrozma and you combined it with either Lunala or Solgaleo, the IV stats, the nature, and the shininess of the Solgaleo or the Lunala didn't matter at all. It all comes down to your Necrozma. So let's say you have a Necrozma and it's a 13-13-13, and you combine it with a perfect 15-15-15 Solgaleo. Well, unfortunately, when you combine them together, it's still going to be a 13-13-13 because it takes all the attributes from the Necrozma and nothing from the Solgaleo at all. And that also works with its shininess as well. So if you have a non-shiny Necrozma, you fuse it together with a shiny Lunala, it will not be shiny at all. It will be the normal Dawnwings Necrozma. But if you have a shiny Necrozma and you combine it with a non-shiny Solgaleo, it will turn into a shiny Duskmane. And let's just say you have a Shundo Necrozma. Well, congratulations. Either one of the fusions will be a shundo just because of that. Doesn't matter if your Solgaleo is a 12, 15, 11, or even possibly worse. It's going to be perfect because of the Necrozma. And that's what they've been doing pretty much for Pokemon Go as well, taking all the stuff from the main series games and applying them into this game. The one thing I'm confused about is the exclusive moves and such, because in the main series games, whenever Necrozma combined with either Lunala or Solgaleo, it would keep the exclusive move of Solgaleo or Lunala, so I don't exactly know how that's gonna go down. Maybe it'll just prioritize if it has that move that it'll keep that move, but if you have it double moved, I don't know exactly how that's gonna go down. Again, we're not gonna know this stuff exactly until it comes into the game, but nonetheless, this is still pretty exciting. And when it comes down to catching a Dusk main or a Dawnwing from a raid, what I believe is going to happen is that it's going to unfuse once you beat it, and then you just have another Necrozma. It's basically like a Mega Raid. You don't catch the Mega Charizard, you just catch the Charizard and get some Mega energy for defeating it. And according to the Pokemon group, they found a thing showing a Pokédex fusion variety, so it looks like we're gonna have a Mega Dex, a Shiny Dex, and a Fusion Dex, even though there's only gonna be like 4 or 5 things on there. Actually, we have the whole list right here because of the Pokemon group. So far this is what they have. Fusion Resource, Dawnwing's Necrozma, Duskmane Necrozma, but then we have Black Kyurem, White Kyurem, Ice Rider Calyrex, and Spectral Rider Calyrex. I completely forgot about Calyrex. That's a Gen 8 Pokemon. Probably not gonna see that for a little while. As of right now, though, we have no news about Ultra Necrozma. And the way Ultra Necrozma works is that you're supposed to be able to give it a Z Crystal, which is from the Gen 7 games. And as long as it's either the Dawnwings or the Duskmane version, it should be able to use that crystal and basically Mega Evolve into the Ultra form. I don't know exactly how they're gonna implement that. We might not even get that until Alola Tour down the road, because again, these assets aren't even in the game yet. But it is kind of fun to speculate how exactly this one's gonna work, because this thing is insanely powerful. It's a Psychic and Dragon type, and I believe its stats are just insane, though we don't fully know exactly what they're gonna be just yet, but it is very powerful. And everything I've mentioned so far is going to apply to Kyurem as well during the Unova Tour, which will be next February. So when it comes down to Kyurem Black and Kyurem White, it's probably gonna work the exact same way. If you have a shiny Kyurem and you combine it with a non-shiny Zekrom or Reshiram, it'll be a shiny Kyurem Black or White. And again, the IVs only matter when it comes down to the Kyurem. It does not matter at all when it comes down to the Reshiram or the Zekrom, which is pretty cool in the end of the day. I love the fact that all you need is a Hundo Kyurem, and then the other ones can just be just the worst. You could get a 10-10-10, combine them together, and you will have a perfect Kyurem Black or White. I know that we did have a bit of a glitch recently where Kyurem Black and White did show up as PvP rewards, which was a fun little glitch. And it makes sense that stuff like that is possible, because if you have a Kyurem Black or White as your buddy, a Zorua should be able to turn into that thing. So it makes sense why there are encounterable versions of the thing, but I doubt that we're going to ever have any possibility to actually catch these things. And that's everything I have on Pokemon Fusions. If I learn anything new, I'll make sure to inform you guys about it, but so far I think I'm pretty on the ball of how this is gonna work. And we're probably not gonna fully learn about how it's gonna work until like maybe a couple weeks before Go Fest. But on the upside, that's getting pretty close, seeing that Sendai is literally the end of May. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video and found it informative, don't forget to smash that subscribe button for me, show me some love, and let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about Fusion in Pokemon Go? Do you like this idea? Do you hate it? Please let me know. And if you really enjoy the content and you want to see even more of it, I highly suggest this video over here. And also YouTube recommends that one too, so you should definitely check it out.